Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? I am Dan from Trading with Dan. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we shall go straight over to those Bitcoin 4-hour charts. Yes, Bitcoin on the 4-hour. We've got ourselves to the top of basically the recent levels that we've got up to. You can see here and here. Obviously we want to get that impetus to push us through the top of these highs, hopefully through this trend line, and then onwards and upwards towards 26,500. Obviously we kind of know Bitcoin is probably taking the back seat to Ethereum. So whilst obviously we do analyze Bitcoin in more detail, we do look at it to get the overall direction. I do think at the moment with the merge, obviously we've got Ethereum that is probably the leader. But yeah, also Ethereum and the general market, which obviously we always want on our side. This is an incredible close, basically, to go into the weekend, closing up here. Obviously, lots of bullish sentiment there must be for us to board us up here and hold us up here. Although having said that, everyone seems to be bearish, looking for new lows. But hey, the more we go up, the further we get away from these lows, the more difficult it is going to obviously then be to come and take out these lows. That is not to say it can't happen, but I think it will take, in my opinion, it will take some sort of conflict in Taiwan. That is probably the main thing that I could see that could give us a realistic chance of taking out these lows. However, black swans by their nature are impossible to predict. So I mean, the fact that that's what I think shows that probably wouldn't be what did it. But I guess if that did happen, that would do it. But there are obviously other things that could happen to drag us back down. But at the moment, things are looking pretty good. I mean, to get back up to here, above here, and actually get up to this next level of resistance, I mean, it's an incredible move off the back of how bearish the market is. But when you say how bearish the market is, this is the market. So on the whole, the market has been buying, has pushed up the price. So regardless of whatever individual talking heads or whatever collective of talking heads say, the market is voting with its feet and the market is buying. So they are against the market at the moment, regardless of how vocal they may be. So yeah, obviously this is looking good. I mean, there's nothing else I can really say about this. It's just looking fantastic. This is a great close into Friday, and then yeah, we'll see how we go. Like I said, even if we will get obviously a pullback, a medium time frame pullback, and it's just a case of where it comes from, where we pull back from, i.e. how high we get first, and then where we pull back to. So yeah, 10-year also having a little bit of a bounce here. Nothing too untoward as of yet. If we get back above 3%, we should potentially start to worry. However, I don't think, well, for what it's worth, I don't think it's necessarily going to have sustained price action over 3%. Ultimately, I think it's going to come down. There is obviously a weakening economy. Yeah, and there's obviously all the structurally deflationary things that we all know. We've obviously gone through a bout of inflation basically due to supply chains. There was not enough goods to go around. I know that obviously demand was stimulated by all the money that was dished out, but ultimately it was a restriction of things to buy with that money because of the supply chains that caused obviously massive accelerating prices and obviously the energy complex has its issues, which we obviously all know about. What else do we want to look at here? Yeah, the DXY still got that 105 handle. I mean, this is still looking like it can break down. It's in a bit of an in-between point. This is kind of an important level that we have closed back above. However, we're still clearly in a downtrend at the moment. But if we do push up over 107, then yeah, we could likely get another leg higher, and that would be incredibly painful. However, we do need We do need some sorts of bad news for that to happen. If not, the path of least resistance, I believe, will be to the downside towards this support level, and then ultimately towards this support level, breaking back into this range. And this may be like a relative fair value. It is obviously going to depend what the yen and the euro do. If things start to calm down in Europe, then yeah, I mean, obviously the euro could have a significant rally. People are trying to call the bottom of the euro. These same finance professionals that don't necessarily get a lot of things right, but I mean, more recently, but they are trying to call the bottom of this. I guess we're at a trend line. They are basically, some people are starting to buy this. Yeah, I guess we've just got to break above this trend line, see what happens. Obviously, we've rejected off it very nicely a couple of times here, but I suspect that was where I drew it in more recently. But yeah, we could obviously break above here, and then we could see a significant move to the upside. So yeah, be aware of that, and that will basically result in a down move in the DXY. And yeah, then probably more of a rally in risk assets. Speaking of risk assets, Nascoin closing pretty high. But if we do want to look at this on like a larger time frame, you can kind of see it's not quite at levels where the S&P is. Well, this is realistically we want to get above. So we'll just call it a nice even 14,000 on the Nasdaq. Get above 14,000, it will look pretty good, and then obviously above 15,000 will be onwards and upwards. But you can see that the S&P, its relative trade, chart wise, we are clearly above its main level of resistance. I mean, obviously Nascoin was hit harder. It's obviously the growth and tech stuff in increasing rate environment, not good. Obviously S&P will have more energy focused stocks in that have been doing better, so and staples. So yeah, what else do you want to look at? Yeah, Bitcoin dominance getting dragged down by ETH. I mean, yeah, we've got this support below here. Not much to say other than it's getting dragged down by ETH. This is the ETH BTC parent. Look at it. This is an absolute thing of beauty. This is the sort of thing that we have all come to love and appreciate over here at Trading with Dan. We are obviously all ETH maxes. But yeah, I mean, here's the bull flag move towards this 0.084. We're obviously at 0.081. Looking good. I mean, this I can't tell you how good this looks. I just can't see any alternative. But I guess there is that psychology where you can't see anything else happen. Then obviously the opposite does happen. However, I didn't think we could, where we were trading with ETH, get down to like an 800 handle on ETH. Did it get a 700 handle? It did, didn't it? Oh no, it didn't. Yeah, so an 800 handle on Ethereum on this exchange at least. So I think on Uniswap it traded lower because that's obviously where the DeFi liquidation is. But I never thought we'd have an 800, a three-figure ETH anyway before the merge, which we did. So I guess what I didn't think could happen has already happened. So on that basis, maybe that's done and dusted. And now what I do think will happen was a continue onwards and upwards. Literally to the sky. This ETH tree is going to grow all the way up to the sky, yeah. But yeah, I think obviously we have flushed. We clearly flushed everybody out. We went from 4,500 to 800 handle, a 3-digit Ethereum. Nobody expected that. Well, I guess you get the people that pop up. I mean, you get the perma bears that expect it. Obviously, they expect it because they always expect it. In much the same way that I'm a perma bull. They're just the opposite of me. But yeah, but this is, yeah, it's looking great. The USD value, nice to see a 2K handle. I mean, similarly to the S&P chart, these are the levels we need to get through before we then will look particularly good. So still got work to do. Yeah, still clearly got work to do in the dollar value, but one of the most bullish things I think for ETH is literally that it's gonna be an up only Ponzi for a while, and a while whilst the merge has already happened as well. So the merge is going to happen, and then withdrawals are not going to be activated for from the staking contract for 6 to 12 months. So it's going to only be one way for the deposits, and ETH is going to start to run short on exchanges. People are probably going to then FOMO into it. It's going to go nuts. People are going to FOMO more into it. People aren't going to be able to sell the staked ETH. Ultimately, once the withdrawal contract goes live, then yeah, I mean, obviously we will it won't necessarily be straight down, but then there will be withdrawals. People will almost definitely be selling, even if they're shifting around to other staking providers. But then also there are restrictions on that to sort of throttle that flow, so it's not all just one massive big sell. But yeah, either way, like, it's just supply is this actual supply that hits the market is going to go, because there won't be miners, and then obviously the people buying it to stake, that is going to be taken off out of the liquid ETH available. So it's incredibly bullish. It is incredibly bullish. Maybe we've got to buy the rumor, buy the news, buy the fact, buy the rumor, buy the fact, and then ultimately it'll be down to the literal when staking contracts, when the withdrawals go live, which is a considerable time away, and these markets generally could be in a lot better by then. So honestly, how high could ETH go? Who knows? Oil also not easing off, but easing off a little bit. I mean, clearly well sub of 100, and not looking like it wants to put in a bottom yet, but obviously we do need this down. We kind of need this back into this range and just to trade sideways. We don't want any more energy shocks to the upside. I mean, we've got enough problems with gas as it is, especially in Europe. So yeah, we need this energy complex down just generally for the health and well-being of our net worth, basically. So yeah, let's look at stochastics. 4 hour is pointing upwards, looking relatively good. 10 hour looking to potentially turn back over. 12 hour looking good, room to run. Daily looking good. Bi daily still pointing up, albeit at a high level. 3 day it's got nearly all the way to the top. 5 day, extremely good read there, lots of room to run, looking to enter the bullish though, and this is more when I think the reads look good, when we are entering the bullish zone, as opposed to when well, fair enough, we turn up, but from a low level we are still low. It is a better read once we get higher, but nonetheless, weekly looking good also from that low level, and then bi-weekly turn up from that low level, and ultimately monthly, providing we stay bullish, monthly will turn around. And all in all, we know that we get big, wild, volatile moves in crypto. We know that's how this asset rolls. But what it just means that is ultimately the path will be upwards, I believe, but there will be some savage moves and wicks to try and well, basically wipe out the over-leveraged people and just generally test people's patience. As of yet though, we are still potentially in an ascending wedge, which is not broken out of. We are not above these highs or even near these highs, so there is no this chart clearly would not look like questionable if we were to break down here and take out the lows, so that is still on the cards. Technically looking at the chart, it's just the macro just seems to be changing. So that is obviously what we do have in our favor, potentially. Obviously macro is very difficult, fundamentals are very difficult, you really should only trade the charts, but yeah, I mean, it is always darkest before dawn, I guess. At the lows, at the bottom, it will still look like we're going to go down further. At the tops, at the highs, it will all be bullish, it will look like we're going to go up further, but ultimately at one point in time, at one level, at one price point, it will be the top, as bullish as it looked, and it will be the low as bearish as it still looks. So that is it, guys. Hope you guys have all got a great weekend planned and had a great week. Thanks for listening. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and I shall speak to you guys soon.